I already fed you. I fed you food already. There's one of my Tyvos. Is that kitten pee-pee? Okay, I hear you. Yes. What? Birdie? Here, I can't do this right now, baby. Don't want to hurt you. Birdie, come stand in the litter box. Don't eat it. Cancel that. Gotta get new litter right now. Yeah, I was gonna try to give them the litter box money, but I've got this damn crystal litter and they're gonna fucking eat it and die, so I can't give them this stuff. Got the fancy stuff in here. Here's the trash can. I'm coming, Orly. Here, go. Go. Ooh, it's hot in here. Trash bag. Fuck, dude. I really was thinking they were gonna have a litter box right now, but... God, I love this crystal litter. Why didn't I just do this outside? happy and good. Sweetheart, you have food already. You literally have food. Sorry, I don't have any more wet cat food. It's gone. You ate it all. Fucking kid. I seriously wish I did not have that shit happen whenever you get like overwhelmed and you can't do anything other than like stay alive. I fucking hate living in clutter. Oh! Ow! Motherfucker! Thank you for all of that all over my fucking face. I'm so happy right now. God fucking damn it, dude. You fucking shit bricking me right now? Gross. I have some fucking plants that are growing. What are they called? Where you start the plant in water? Propagation. I have these propagations hanging up, and when I open my window, all of the liquid, my fingernail broke, which made my finger slip off of the bus window flap thing, the thing you push to open the window, which made my fingers fly in the wrong direction. My nail is now broken. Lucky the glass didn't break. But all that propagation goo went all over me. Money, please stop getting underfoot. I'm not feeding you any more wet food. It's gone. It's done. It's over. And I forgot to take out my trash this morning to the can, so now I have to wait a whole week. Actually, you guys can have this. Do that every single day when I want to. Every day I have to move all that yarn. I'm grateful because that means I have a lot of yarn. Alright, let's put on shorts. I have to go to work, but I'm gonna do this first. Money! Let me go see if there's like a thing of tuna in my backpack. You are the luckiest bitch. You're the luckiest bitch that ever did meow in the entire world. Look what I got for you. Yep, you know what this is. It's the gold. I got the gold. You want it? You want it? You want it? Yeah, okay. Yeah. 2 days. She's eaten all this cat food. Literally. I didn't throw these cans. I just set them there for literally from just yesterday morning. An entire box of cat food in 2 days. Okay, now that that's done, and those kittens are so fucking adorable. All right, now we'll move you to your spot. Do this. Jesus titty fucking Christ. Are you serious right now? Are we serious? Oh God. Come on, cord, you piece of shit. I'm PMSing. I can figure. I'm 100% PMSing. I'm getting frustrated by little things. Would I date a British man? I wouldn't date any man. And yes, I am married, but I am also single. Where the pencil goes. All right. The bed I got here. There you go. Now you guys can climb all over that. And now that fucking thing's out of my way! Oh my God! Praise the Lord. So sick of having to move shit around in order to function. Y'all, oh my God. Okay, so I have pretty much gone my whole life barefoot. So I have always had Florida feet where like I could walk on anything. Like I could walk on broken glass, I can walk on gravel, no problem, whatever. Well, anyways, I moved to Oregon. And then, like, I started experiencing cold weather, so I had to start wearing boots. And then I started working outside, like an outdoor job, boots also included. So I've been wearing boots more often, and my feet have gotten, like, a little bit softer or whatever. They're not nearly as tough as they used to be. Well, anyway, the last time that I took a shower, I just bought this Vaseline. Dude, my black friends are geniuses. I don't know why I took so long. I just was like, oh, well, I can't put Vaseline on my skin because it will make me break out. I'll get pimples all over my face. Not true. Not true at all. Anyway, it actually helps cure acne because the oil on your face breaks down the wax that's clogging your pores. So it like, blackheads just like, boop, right out. Anyways, you don't even have to squeeze them. You just have to like touch near them and they just come out. But anyway, so I put Vaseline on my feet and then immediately put socks on. Like I put a good amount of Vaseline, not like so much that I'd be like walking around in goopy socks, but enough that it would set on my skin and, you know, it would be on my sock and it would force, anyways, my feet are so fucking soft right now. Holy shit. I would not be embarrassed to rub my feet on some stranger's leg in a bed. I don't even have cracks on my heels. I can't show you my feet because y'all are weirdos. But I don't even have like I have where there used to be a crack or whatever. Like there's like a wrinkle, but there's no cracking. Like there's no dead skin that's all jagged and hanging off. This is the first time that I'm going to enter a summer without having to do like baby feet or something like that, you know, like to shed all the dead skin cells. Pretty stoked about that. Mom, nurse your fucking kittens. They're going bonkers. Okay, let's do this. Orly, the door is open. If you want to come inside, come inside. Stop barking at the neighbor. Or don't, whatever. Okay, got my desk clear. My husband doesn't realize what a lucky guy he is, and so he thinks I'm stupid. He thinks I'm just a stupid woman, because women are stupid. And, like, he loves me. We love each other very much, but we love each other like brother and sister. We've truly been like brother and sister our entire, like, we've known each, so here's the thing. We met when we were 14. When I was 15, I told him, hey, if we're not married to anyone else by the time we're 30, let's marry each other. Anyways, we stayed together. We broke up when we were like 16 or 17. And then we didn't talk until we were like 22. Like, we literally didn't talk at all from 17 to 22. But then we reconnected at like 20 something, mid to early 20s. And then we reconnected, and then we were together. And then we got married when we were 30. We got pregnant and had Elliot when we were 31. And then we separated when we were 35. And we have been separated since 2018. I'm 42 now. So, but anyways, our relationship, he drinks, and he is literally one of the most amazing people I've ever met in my entire life. The issue is that he thinks he's autistic, and he doesn't know how to do introspection and like really get into his self. He's afraid, you know, it's traumatic, and it's hard to face yourself and hard to face the things you've done, and in order to just, you know, it's hard to do that, and it was not easy for me to do. I'm not saying it's easy, but he hasn't done that. Like, he is slowly, you know, coming around and stuff. He has gotten so much better. He is, like, I would consider getting back together with him more now than I have ever considered it, because of how amazing he has done. But there still are things that we shouldn't get back together, because once a sexual relationship enters the dynamic, then it becomes different. Then it becomes more high stakes. You know what I mean? Like, everything is more passion driving. Like, you get more mad when someone does something that you feel is slighting you, or they're doing something to upset you. You feel it more when sex is involved, and therefore I have not had sex in 5 years, and I have no desire to have sex whatsoever. None. I don't masturbate. I don't do any of that shit. I don't watch porn ever. Porn is actually the main reason why society is so sick, and men are going through this male epidemic, loneliness epidemic, and women are being bamboozled into sex work. Women are told that the only thing of them of any value is their sexuality, which isn't true. So, oh my God, girl, if this is your dream, hold on, I got something for you. Hold on. So this is just the stash that I access and I'm using on a regular basis, right? So this is what I need access to. But those, all three of them, are filled with yarn. Like, literally. That one there has my punch needle, knitting needles, yarn that I cannot use. I cannot use cotton for this, because the scissors, you need special scissors to cut through the cotton. It's a little bit more of a harder material to cut. So the acrylic and wool I could cut with these scissors. But anyway, so I put all of my cotton, all of the special yarn, everything, all my hobby stuff that is not for what I'm doing now is in there. Well, not all of my hobby stuff. All of my hobby stuff is fucking everywhere. Just everywhere you look. But anyway, so all the drawers, everything is full of hobby shit, books. Anyways, but that is yarn that I will use. That's what's there is double what's here. So I split all of my balls. I got a skein. The skein that I got, I wound that into 80-gram balls. I was able to get 5 80-gram balls out of each because it's like 300 and something grams per ball. But I did about 80. So I extra yarns. So, you know, there's like 2 or 3 oranges there, but there are also 2 right here that I'm actively using. And I am always using 2 balls of yarn at a time. So it needs to be, oh, let's show you the other side. So in order to be as fluffy and dense as I want it to be, I do 2 strings at a time. That way I can get away with only 1 single strand. Like I don't have to go back here and with 2 rows of yarn. I could just get away with 1 row of yarn. And it still comes out nice and, you know, and you can see how it's like jig-jaggy. It's because it's so voluminous. The yarn is spreading out, so they're pushing each other out of the way. So what I'm gonna do here is after I get these down, I'm gonna cut them and then make them look like this. See how it's like 3D? And it literally feels like piano keys. Like, it literally feels like it. Wait, I gotta do it with this hand. Wait, how do I do it? I can't remember. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me. Small and white, clean and bright, you look happy to meet me. It's the only thing I can play on the piano. Anyway, so here are some other designs that I've been working on. These are the ones from last week. I've got to get these to their owners. So this is the lady who groomed my dog for me after a year of begging people to help me. This is a gift for her. She's not paying. She didn't even know. She didn't ask. I just said, can I make this for you as a present? Because I'm so grateful. This is for a girl on TikTok called Bookbinding Artist. She is a bookbinder. She makes books. So, and then this one I made for my kiddo. This is like the first time I ever tried shadow and blending. Like, I mean, this is only the 4th. I think this was number 2. This is the second one I ever made. This is the first one I ever made. This is the second one I ever made. This is the 3rd one I ever made. And this is the 4th one I ever made. I should write on the back, like what number they are. And then I made that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. So I should be totally should be labeling them. Anyway, so we're going to cut these down right now and we're going to get them ready for their backing. So that's what we're doing right now. If I could get my shit together. I got to go to work too, by the way. I don't feel like it right now. And I own my own business, so I can do whatever I want. Where's my pinking shears at? I wonder if these will cut nicely.
You see the fire the neighbors had last night?
What?
Did you see it?
No, there was a fire? What? Were there ambulances?
No, it was the neighbors on the other side of the fence, not Angie's house. They had a big bonfire.
Oh no.
It was fucking huge though. It lit the whole valley up and the fire department contacted us.
Oh really? Oh. Will you move that propane tank or at least drug it?
Wanted to know if you had contacted me, wanted to know if we had some kind of fire here or something because that's one of their sensors got shut off.
That's creepy. No, I didn't see it at all. I don't pay attention to nothing, Adam.
I'm surprised though, because the whole reason I noticed it is because I was laying in bed just watching the end of Game of Thrones for the 10th time.
Yeah.
And freaking, I noticed that on the security cameras, it all of a sudden looked like it was daylight outside.
Oh.
And I was like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, and so I jumped up and I looked outside and I could see like the whole place was lit up orange.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, a bomb could go off, and if it doesn't make sound enough, I won't notice.
Yeah, no, it was totally quiet.
That's crazy. No, I didn't even notice. Apparently there was a huge fire next door. It was a bonfire though, so it's not like... I don't know how I ever lived without 3-in-1 oil before this. Wow! How did I ever live without this before? I am never going to be without 3-in-1 oil again. I'm not going to catch me slipping. Did I tell you guys that I got another order? Someone ordered a Lightning McQueen from me and they paid me yesterday. And the funny thing is it's a random person that I don't know from the internet. And they found me on the live stream and on their own found my Instagram, messaged me on Instagram, and arranged me to make this rug for them. They saw me streaming on either here or TikTok, which is crazy. And that just goes to show, like, people, like, I've never made a sale from a live stream before like that, where it actually happened, but I also don't sell things very often or, like, ever. So, not really super surprised about that, but like, people always say, like, oh yeah, I want to buy that. I do it too sometimes. Because I do want to buy it, but then when it comes time to actually pay for it, you're like, oh fuck, I don't even know if I have the money to do this right now. I was just being impulsive. I know. That's 5. I've sold 5 rugs. One of them hasn't paid, but that's because, honestly, I wasn't gonna charge her. I was just gonna make something for being like, she's like literally my #1 most supportive TikTok follower. And I'm not even kidding. Like, the only reason that I even know who she is because she literally likes every single one of my videos. She likes them and she comments on them. Every single one. And I mean it. Every single one. I know for sure, without a doubt, that she will be there. And so anyways, I was like, I want to make you one because you've been so supportive. And then she was like, well, I will pay you for the yarn and shipping. So... but she hasn't paid yet. I haven't even approached her about it. So she's on my list, my Google Sheet page of all my projects that I have to do. But she is not, I haven't gotten like it nailed down with her yet. Well, just like when people say they want to buy something on a live stream, a marriage proposal is also very similar to that. It's not serious. And yeah, I've gotten a bunch of them not serious. pinking shears don't work very well. They're like 100 years old, so, and I mean not like literally, I think they're from like 1945 or something like that. They were little old ladies. That's the first time I've actually tried to use them, I think, the entire time I've owned them. And they do work really good. But Orly, you can come inside anytime you want. The door is open. I can use that extra fold over to keep it from sticking, so I'm going to leave that there. That's cutting it a little close, Heather. I'm going to use the back to kind of fold over. And because it's still tacky a little, even after it's dry, and it will stick to itself really bad. So I don't want the good guys touching the bad guy. Oh, that's perfect. Fuck yes. Oh my god, these are gonna come out really good. I'm so proud of me. Look at me go. I can do anything that I set my mind to. I don't need to ask for permission from no one, 'cause I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. Can't tell me nothing. Come in. Door is open. All right. Come on. Whoa. Go. Gongi. Gongi. Build a baby gate with a cardboard box. There we go. Come on, move. Sorry, buddy, we're almost out. I can't give you very many. Let me put your food in a bowl. Oh, thank God I'm gonna make a little money this week because I'm broke. And I need dog food. I almost need dog food. I don't need dog food right now. Please don't anybody offer to send me money or anything. Ouch. Really good at stabbing myself. Oh. Said literally every rug tufter on the planet. This is oh, maybe not. That's good as it's going on. You saw me get arrested on Dog Bounty Hunter? That's interesting. Okay. Let's do... Text Adam, do you want to make $50 and help me today? Question mark.
Okay, sending.
Oops, I forgot to turn it. Yes, I made that. Well, I didn't make that. I made these. And Lightning McQueen. I still have to shave him. He won't look so shaggy when he's done. And I also put that here. Need this. This is what the Lightning McQueen will look like when it's shaved. Like it'll be like 3D or whatever. Ooh, there's one fiber out of place. But anyway, dude, so someone saw this. Actually, I've placed 6 orders. Oh my god, I forgot. 6 orders. She saw this and she wants one. She wants one in black and white. So I'm going to be making another one of these soon. Holy shit, I forgot. I've placed 6 orders. And I have not even like tried to sell anything. I've just been excited showing people what I make because I'm so excited about it. Because it's so fun and it's so cool. Like, I could make a rug? Wait, what? That's possible? You could do that? I didn't know you could do that. Alright. So, what we're doing right now... rubbing alcohol, keep my scissors clean. Work. Need my mallet. Julio, you need to go over here. I haven't put on anything to listen to. Hello? Thank you. Oh, look, everybody thinks so.
So, you know the White House Correspondents' Dinner. This is what happened.
Shots fired just outside the White House Correspondents' Dinner, spreading panic. as President Trump, the First Lady, and top
Oh,
administration
well,
officials
someone fired at
gathered
the
journalists for the
Correspondence
annual
Center.
event
We
being
should
held at the
probably
Washington
just
Hilton
get that
Hotel.
ballroom
Secret
now.
Service agents stormed the stage to shield the president and vice president, while hundreds of guests took cover under tables.
They didn't exactly storm it. We'll get back to that in a second.
Outside the ballroom, surveillance video shows a suspect, 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen, attempt to run past a perimeter checkpoint before being stopped by law enforcement. Acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche on Meet the
Did you
Press
guys
this
see
morning.
there's a picture of that kid, the guy who did it, the man with a Israeli, an IDF t-shirt on?
Secret Service officer was
That's
shot at close
interesting.
range during a confrontation, but survived.
Man, they're
because of a
really,
protective
really,
vest.
really putting
As
this whole
authorities look into the
Israel
suspect's
against
background
us.
and motive, they say he came armed
They're really
with
trying to make
multiple
us hate
weapons.
our government, aren't
Investigators
they?
searched the suspect's Torrance home and recovered writings in his hotel room critical of Trump and his administration. President Trump was asked about the suspect's manifesto Sunday during a 60 Minutes interview.
Isn't that weird how that 60 Minutes interview came out like the next day?
Radicalized. He was a Christian believer, and then he became an anti-Christian, and he had a lot of change. He's been going through a lot based on what he wrote.
There have been at least 2 prior attempts on Mr. Trump's life, leading to criticism of a possible security breach at such a high-profile event.
The system worked. We were safe. President Trump was safe. His Secret Service agents have kept him safe.
It's clear to me that in his head, he probably realized he wasn't going to be able to get all the way into the secure ballroom.
Michael Matranga is a former Secret Service agent who has worked events at the Hilton before.
I don't necessarily consider a couple hundred yards or more extremely close to the president or to any of the protectees.
Finally,
you know,
someone with a little
it was
sense.
clear to me that he knew that he was not going to be able to fulfill his mission, which is why he chose, the desperate attempt of trying to run past the checkpoints.
President Trump thanked federal law enforcement for their quick actions to keep everyone safe, saying he wasn't worried there would be any casualties or injuries.
Of course
he says
not.
plans are in the works to reschedule the event now.
So you see what happens when you don't book a comedian to host the show? That's what happens. So there's, just to let you know, spoiler alert, this was a psyop. This was not real. I mean, that guy probably was there. That guy probably did pull the trigger. This was all engineered by the establishment. And I'll tell you exactly why they did it coming up in just a second. But just to show you how lax the, yikes, Fox 5 caught on hot mic talking about the security at the Correspondents' Dinner and how lax it was. You want to hear what they said here?
They have like 2 random chicks holding the front door open. We're not even trying anymore. It's not even like, I just mean like they're not even like Secret Service people. It's like the girls who work here are holding the door. Even if it was the guys, it wouldn't even make it better. It's like she's fine. It's just like they might as well put a doorstop in. They put up a doorstop and a scarecrow. Don't fuck with this guy.
Here is a retired CIA analyst today talking about the what he thinks will happen.
Thank you for the chance to chat. The story stinks to high heaven. Let me explain some of the issues, and let me emphasize this is not just my opinion. I've got a buddy who ran Reagan's security detail after Reagan was shot. Experienced Secret Service officer. He actually set up the training protocols that Secret Service is supposed to adhere to, which they are no longer following. Now, let me emphasize
I'm not
that.
gonna be able to do that little trick.
So the first thing that caught my eye, the first person that's taken off the stage. So you got gunfire outside of the ballroom. It's not inside the ballroom. The first person to be taken off stage was J.D. Vance. And I looked at it and go, what in God's name is going on?
And then it was
Normally, if you do it like that, you can,
until they took the president off. So I'll show you that video.
forbidden
I think
pizza.
I have it coming up. But the
if
first
you
person they did take off with JD Vance.
put it on there and then you scrunch it up like
And then Trump was
this
sitting
and
there
then replace it, you can make
looking
it go around in a
for at
circle
least
and then you
15
just cut
seconds, possibly 30.
the loop part off
The protocol.
and then you
the
could go around the
standard,
circle
The
without
requirement is the president.
stopping and cutting every 5
Everybody
seconds.
else can die. The president, that's who you save. That's what Secret Service is supposed to be trained to do. They didn't do that. They take off J.D. Vance. So you're going, okay, what's going on?
Well, JD Vance is the future president.
Trump initially,
What's going
They're
on is
already
that
gonna
it's a
try and
psyop.
do that.
That's what's going on. What's going on was this was engineered by the deep state or the Trump administration, the FBI, the CIA. This was engineered, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell you the reason why was Trump's ballroom was stopped by a judge. a judge did not. I don't know if you heard that story. Said you can't do this without an act of Congress, or if there has to be an extreme security reason. So they just manufactured a security. This is the first time Trump goes
I wonder
to the
if I
White
could
House
just...
Correspondents' Dinner, and this happens, and they immediately, and Trump doesn't look flustered whatsoever. Nobody does. They go have this. He's very calm in his press conference, and he's like, "Well, this is why we got to have the new ballroom," and that's exactly what happened. Okay, so spoiler alert, that's exactly why. That's why this all happened. And MK Ultra, do you think they stopped doing that? Again, there's another lone nut guy. Really? So this guy, one of the smartest guys in the world, he went to Caltech, he's teacher of the year, all that stuff. Never committed a crime in his life. All of a sudden, he's going to go do an assassination. He realizes he can't get in. He's not going to even get close. So he decides to shoot some Secret Service people. That doesn't make any sense. Unless they MK Ultra'd him. Again, do you think they stopped that program? Really? You think they stopped weather modification because they signed a treaty in 1970 that said they wouldn't do it?
You know, everybody else is
I don't
ducking
know how
behind
they should
tables.
do.
He's sitting there calmly looking around like,
That's right.
did he know this was going to happen?
Uh-huh.
Was this
I'm gonna
staged?
try it again.
I believe it was staged.
There you
And
go.
We'll get into that. The second thing is the failure of the security perimeter, that it was not properly set up. So the way this should be done is you have a perimeter outside the hotel, okay? So you set the first layer, that nobody gets past that first layer unless they have a right to be in that hotel. They can show that they're a guest or they got an invitation.
If I
Otherwise,
just keep
nobody
trying
gets
it, I'll perfect it, you know? So I just
Here's
gotta
another guy.
sacrifice a little
This
tape.
is retired Lieutenant Colonel Tony Aguilar, who's been on
Figure
this
it out.
show, and he concurs that this was a psyop and a setup.
I agree with Larry in that not only does it stink to high heaven, it was entirely bizarre and what is akin to a high school play. When you look at who was present, the administration, Trump had his cast of clowns and his cabinet of idiocracies all convened at the Washington Hilton. What's ironic is that the Secret Service has a very robust security plan for that specific hotel, because if we all recall, in March of 1981, that's where the same hotel that Ronald Reagan was shot in. That's why it's called the Hilton Hinckley, because of John Hinckley that fired those shots. So the fact that the security was so lackluster, unprofessional, the shooter was able to penetrate to the depth that he did with seemingly no objective, with a shotgun, a pistol, and a knife, unless he was Charlie Bronson
It's
or
gonna
trying
work.
to
I'm gonna do
reenact
it.
something from the from a bad B-type action movie. This was the setup. This is another attempt for Donald Trump to bring attention during very low polling, and it brings a lot of question and a lot of scrutiny onto what actually happened in Butler. I think this shows another hand of that same.
Okay, so his theory is that it's because his polling's low. I don't think that's why they did it.
Well, I think
But,
they did it
here, I'll tell
because
you.
they
A
definitely
federal
want
judge,
Trump back.
US
Trump is
District
trying to
Judge
get back
Richard
in.
Leon ruled in late March.
They want
just
the
a few weeks
illusion
ago.
of favor. It's getting out
He
of control.
ruled that the
The amount of
construction of
people that are
President Trump's
waking up.
planned $400 million
They
White
knew it was
House
coming.
ballroom must be
They can see the
halted
future.
until Congress provides explicit statutory authorization. The exception is the initial order allowed work strictly necessary for safety and security. For example, underground bunker elements. In mid-April, Leon clarified, reiterated that the halt on above-ground ballroom construction, rejecting the administration's attempt to classify the entire project as a national security matter to bypass the ruling. So, when
Yay,
they went
it
to the press
worked.
conference, I'm going to show you that in a second.
Oh my
but
God,
that's
that was
the
so much
first-
easier. Okay, so
everybody's
now
tweeting
that
out
I
like
have
crazy, "Hey, this is
gone
why we need the
around in
ballroom.
a
This is why we need the
circle,
ballroom. This
I'm
is
gonna
why we
cut
need-"
these
And we
little
all
tabs
know now
off.
that just like they had the K-Hive when Kamala Harris was running for president, they have the same right-wing media, independent media people taking orders from the White House and repeating it. We've showed you that happen over with the Candace Owens thing, with TPUSA. Now with this, and
It's at the correspondence.
that's-
It's a room full of journalists.
this is my thinking. We'll be right back with more of this story after a brief message from our sponsor. Hey, Maria Morera was born in 1907
Jimmy.
when horses still the internal environment. Consuming kimchi is the strongest and
I
simplest.
can't stand that one. Ugh. Can't stand it.
They shut us down. The fire trucks are out here. On my video. Why do you do your video behind?
There are two performers who, over the last decade, have occupied more IMAX real estate than almost any other duo in cinematic history.
I know, Jesus.
One of them is a mountain of charisma who has been the highest paid actor on the planet more times than I can count.
You know our drill.
The other is a high-velocity comedy engine who has grossed enough at the box office to buy a small
Kevin
sovereign
Hart is
nation.
willing to do the dance.
Together,
He's
they've
willing
generated
to
hundreds of millions of dollars
say, "Yes,
and
sir,
dozens
master,
of
sir,"
identical posters where one is
and do a little
massive,
dance.
one is tiny, and both are staring directly into the camera like they're trying to sell you a mid-range insurance policy. But here's the question we've stopped asking. When was the last time you actually saw either of these two as actors instead of global marketing assets?
When?
We live in an era of the star brand where the performance is secondary to the perception. Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart aren't just leading men anymore. They are fixed financial products. One sells the fantasy of invincibility, the other sells the aesthetic of high decibel chaos. It's a perfected, profitable algorithm, but beneath the protein shakes and the practice panic, the actual craft has been buried under layers of corporate safety. However, there is a pulse under the brand. In this video, we're looking at two specific films, one that proves The Rock is capable of genuine gritty nuance, and one that proves Kevin Hart can actually hold a scene without screaming. Neither of them are the ones you've watched a dozen times on a plane, and for sure, it's not The Smashing Machine, for God's sake.
This is the start of something very dangerous.
You are telling me.
To understand how Dwayne Johnson became a global commodity, we have to look past the current version of the man, the one that looks like he was sculpted out of a mahogany and polished with the tears of marketing executives, which is impressive because at this point I'm not entirely sure he's even aging. He's just getting better lighting. We have to go back to the squared circle here. It's the worst kept secret in entertainment that professional wrestling is the ultimate training ground for cinema, but not for the reasons people think. It's about the sell, and if you don't know what the sell is, it's basically acting, but with more oil and less Oscar campaigns. In the WWE, specifically during the late 90s Attitude Era, Dwayne Johnson was a live-action theater performer working without a safety net. If you're standing in the middle of an arena with 20,000 people screaming for your head and you can't make them believe in the character you're inhabiting through nothing but a microphone and a raised eyebrow, you don't get a second take. You don't get a fix it in post session, you just fail. This environment forged a level of raw kinetic charisma that Hollywood hadn't seen in decades. When Johnson finally made the jump to film, he brought that wrestler's intuition with him. He understood how to dominate a frame, how to play the back of the room, and most importantly, he understood how to be a person. His official debut in The Mummy Returns in 2001 is a fascinating relic. For about 5 minutes of screen time, he essentially hijacks the entire production. The CGI version of the Scorpion King is an absolute horror show of early visual effects, and yet, even through that pixelated mess, the industry saw something. They saw a man who had an identity. What followed was a string of movies, The Scorpion King, The Rundown, Walking Tall, where we saw something that is almost completely absent from the current rock brand, vulnerability. In these early 2003 to 2005 roles, Johnson was still Dwayne. He was a massive human being, sure, but he was allowed to be a human being. In The Rundown, he gets his ass kicked for a significant portion of the film. He looks tired, he looks frustrated, he actually has to struggle to win. There was a groundedness to his performance that suggested he was a character actor trapped in a superhero's body. But
what makes you think it's the studios that are doing that and not what's signed into his contract?
Cool. If you haven't seen it,
He can't lose a fight as per his contract.
You will see this man take a genuine creative risk. He plays a gay bodyguard who desperately wants to be an actor. He spends the movie wearing a cowboy hat, dancing and doing a monologue from Bring It On in front of the mirror. The Rock was making fun of himself. Yes, there was a time when The Rock did interpretive dancing in a cowboy hat. We used to be a proper society. At this point, Johnson was
put
a
on the
shapeshifter in
dress.
much like how I spoke about with
He was
Sydney
willing
Sweeney.
to
There was
put
a sense
on
that
the
he was
dress.
using his physical attributes as a tool for the performance,
Just
rather
like
than
Kevin
the
Hart.
performance being a tool for
Oh,
the image.
you'll have
He was
fame,
awkward,
you'll
he was
have
charmingly
riches,
unsure of
but
himself,
you have to put
and
on a
he was,
fucking dress.
dare I say it, likable. So what happened?
They
How
put
did we
every
go from
fucking
Elliot
man in a
Wilhelm
dress.
to the invincible, sanitized demigod we see today? The answer is as
They just
simple
gotta
as it is
gender
depressing.
bend.
Success.
They can't
The Rock as
let
a
men be
brand
men.
didn't kill Dwayne Johnson, the actor. The
I
relentless
am
pursuit
making
of
a
global
rug.
marketability did. As his box office numbers climbed, the stakes for his image changed. He moved from being a performer who happens to be a star to being a star who occasionally performs. The industry realized that the Dwayne version, the one who could lose a fight, the one who could be vulnerable, the one who could be weird, was a financial variable. But The Rock was was a guaranteed return on investment. You can see the wall starting to close in around the late 2000s.
There we go.
The movie started to become
Done with that
cleaner.
mask.
The humor started to become more calculated. He stopped looking for roles that challenged his persona and started looking for roles that solidified it. He began to realize that if he polished the edges off of his personality, he could fit into every single demographic on the planet simultaneously. He became the ultimate four-quadrant actor, appealing to children, parents, and everyone in between by simply being a reliable, static symbol of strength. It's the tragedy of the blockbuster era, really. We've traded a promising, gritty talent for a high-definition billboard. In those early films, you could see a man who was hungry to prove that he could act. You could see the soul in a young body that directors always talk about, but now we just see the armor. The brand became a self-fulfilling prophecy because he couldn't fail at the box office. He decided that he couldn't fail on screen. He started being the guy whose contracts allegedly dictate exactly how many hits he can take.
I knew it!
The transition from a promising actor to a legally protected commodity didn't happen overnight. But if you're looking for the exact moment that Dwayne Johnson's software was overwritten by the ROC operating system, which, like most software updates, removed a lot of features people actually liked, you'll find it in 2011. Specifically, you'll find it in a sweaty, testosterone-fueled locker room in Rio de Janeiro. Fast 5 was a seismic event for the industry, but for Johnson personally, it was the ultimate double-edged sword. On one hand, he successfully revitalized a dying franchise about street racers and turned it into a global heist epic. But on the other hand, the success of Luke Hobbs gave Johnson a terrifying realization. The world didn't want him to be a person. They wanted him to be a force of nature. And forces of nature don't have bad days. They don't have insecurities. And they certainly don't lose. This is the birth of what I call the untouchable era. This is where the star power becomes so concentrated that it begins to warp the very reality of the films themselves. Now it's about whether the plot is worthy of the character. By the time we reached Fast and Furious 6 and 7, the rumors about Johnson's creative demands stopped being tabloid fodder and started looking like a structural blueprint for his entire career. We've all seen the reports, the legendary fight clauses. According to various industry leaks and a fairly famous Wall Street Journal investigation, Johnson, along with his co-stars Vin Diesel and Jason Statham,
Maybe I've heard it
allegedly
somewhere
had
before.
contracts that monitored
Maybe I
exactly
didn't
how
think of it
many
on my
hits
own.
they could take on screen. Think about that for a second. We are talking about grown men paying tens of millions of dollars to play pretend, who are so protective of their alpha status that they reportedly needed a dedicated accountant to tally up every punch, kick, and headbutt to ensure that nobody looks weaker than the other. It's a level of ego-driven micromanagement that turns an action scene into a corporate merger. This is the death of the sell. In professional wrestling, selling is the art of making your opponent look powerful. It's the art of showing pain. A wrestler who won't sell is useless because there's no drama. But in the contract era, The Rock stopped selling. He became a fixed asset. If your contract dictates that you can't lose a fight, then every single action sequence you appear in for the rest of your life has the emotional stakes of a commercial for a heavy-duty truck. You know it's going to work, you know it's indestructible, and you know it's never going to surprise you. This legalistic approach to invincibility created a new kind of cinematic void, because when the lead actor is untouchable, the script becomes a formality. In movies like San Andreas, Rampage, or Skyscraper, Johnson is playing a demographic-tested archetype. He's the protective father who is also a specialized expert in everything. He wears the same tan tactical shirt. I'm actually genuinely convinced he owns 47 identical versions of that shirt and calls it range. He stands in the same rubble-strewn environments and he sweats with the same industrial-grade intensity. It's a template, a synthetic blockbuster aesthetic where the actor is the only thing that matters, and the movie around him is just secondary noise. You could swap the giant gorilla in Rampage for the
Money, what are you
earthquakes in San
doing?
Andreas, and
Why are you
Johnson
so
wouldn't even
scared?
have to change his facial expression. He's become a human easy button for studios. If you have a mediocre script and $200 million of over-digitalized visual noise, you drop The Rock in the middle of it and hope the sheer gravity of his brand keeps the whole
Look,
thing
Mama,
from floating away.
it's a
But here's the
rug.
problem with being an untouchable brand. You lose your
She's
humanity.
literally
In the first
so
chapter,
freaked
I
out
talked
right
about
now.
how early Johnson could be awkward. He could be the butt of the joke. But in the contract era,
It's
the
just a
jokes
rug,
are
dude.
always rock safe. He's allowed to be funny, sure, but it's always that self-assured, I'm the coolest guy in the room kind of funny. It's a controlled charisma. It's the difference between a real conversation and a press release. Everything about him now feels curated. His Instagram, his workout videos, his tequila brand, it's all part of the same seamless, indestructible product. He has successfully removed the variable of Dwayne Johnson. There are no more risks. There are no more be cool moments, only the brand. But Dwayne isn't the only one who traded his soul for a formula. On the other side of the poster, there's a guy who realized that if he couldn't be the biggest man in the room, he'd be the loudest. Let's talk about Kevin Hart before the noise became a product. While we can describe The Rock as the mountain that refuses to move, Kevin Hart is the tectonic plate that won't stop vibrating. But to understand why Kevin Hart currently sounds like a broken car alarm in almost every movie he's in, let's go back to the source, to the stage. Stand-up comedy is without question the most brutal and honest form of performance in the entertainment industry. There is no editing, there are no stunt doubles, there is no let's try that again from a different angle. It's just one person, a microphone, and the immediate terrifying judgment of a live audience. If you aren't real, they'll smell it. If you aren't vulnerable, they won't laugh. And in the beginning, Kevin Hart was very, very real. Before he was the guy in the jungle running away from CGI animals, Hart was a performer who built a career on the ruins of his own insecurities. If you go back and watch his early specials, I'm a Grown Little Man, or Seriously Funny, you aren't watching a brand, you're watching a guy who realized that his greatest weapon wasn't his confidence, but his willingness to be a disaster. Hart's early comedy wasn't just about being the loud guy. It was autobiographical trauma disguised as punchlines. He talked about his father's struggles with addiction, his own failures as a husband, and the crushing anxiety of being a small man in a world that values height. He took all the things that made him feel less than and put them under a spotlight. This was the Cell in his purest form. He wasn't trying to look cool. He wasn't trying to look untouchable. He was inviting you to laugh at his pain, literally.
Nelly, what is your deal, girl?
Laugh at My Pain is arguably the most important moment in his career because it proved that his vulnerability was his superpower. He understood nuance, he understood timing, and most importantly, he understood that the funniest thing about Kevin Hart wasn't that he was short, it was that he was aware of how much he had to compensate for it. He was playing a character who was constantly trying to project strength while being terrified of his own shadow. It was a layered performance. You could see the gears turning, you could see the person behind the noise. But here is where the tragedy starts to mirror the one we saw with Dwayne Johnson. When you have that level of success, when you're selling out football stadiums and becoming a global comedy icon, the industry starts to pay attention. And Hollywood, in its infinite soulless wisdom, doesn't look at a performer like Kevin Hart and think, how can we utilize this man's deep psychological range? No, they look at him and think, he's funny when he gets loud and panics. Let's make him do that for 90 minutes. Hart's transition into film is a fascinating case of be careful what you wish for. In his early supporting roles like in The 40-Year-Old Virgin or even Death at a Funeral, he was a specialist. He would show up, deliver a burst of high-velocity observational energy, and then leave. He was a seasoning, and like most seasoning, a little bit went a very long way. But in those small doses, the noise worked. It felt like a natural extension of his stage persona. But as he moved into leading roles, the Kevin Hart persona began to undergo a process of industrial-grade simplification. The industry realized that the vulnerable, self-deprecating Kevin required a good script and actual acting. But the loud, screaming, panicky Kevin, that could be dropped into any generic plot with zero effort. The system took the noise and turned it into a product. They took a man who was capable of telling complex, heartbreaking stories about his family and reduced him to a single trait.
My cat is
High
like, what in the
decibel
fuck are you doing?
overreaction. If there's a loud noise in the movie, there's a 70% chance it's Kevin Hart. It's the same trap, just a different color. Johnson's brand is about
I don't think she's ever seen me hammer anything like this before. Dude, look, she is literally tweaking.
Hart was in control of his chaos. He used to tell us who he was, but once he walked onto a Hollywood set, the chaos started to control him. He started being a cartoon character who existed solely to be afraid. He became the hysterical sidekick by default, even when he was the lead. The irony is that Hart built his house on honesty. He told us he was a grown little man. He told us he was serious and funny. He told us to laugh at his pain. But the more successful he became, the less pain there was to laugh at. He became a billionaire. He became a global powerhouse, and it's very hard to sell the disadvantaged outside of persona when you're flying on a private jet to your next stadium tour. So he had to fake it. He had to manufacture the panic. He had to turn up the volume to hide the fact that the original honesty had been replaced replaced by a marketing strategy. By the time he met The Rock, Kevin Hart wasn't just a comedian anymore. He was a high-frequency branding ad. Over of his own personality. In the beginning, realized they needed to simplify the product. They needed a Kevin Hart type, and they compressed it into a single repeatable algorithm, high decibel panic. This became the industry standard for Kevin Hart. If there was a scene where a character needed to react to something, Hollywood's solution was to have Kevin Hart scream at it. If the script doesn't know what to do, Kevin Hart will. Louder, faster, higher. It's the cinematic equivalent of a car alarm that only knows one song. For a while, the tune was catchy. In Ride Along 2014, the dynamic worked because it was still relatively fresh. You had the straight man and the hysterical sidekick. It's one of the oldest tropes in the book, and Hart played the frantic amateur with a level of energy that felt almost athletic. But the problem with building a career on a single trait is that the trait eventually becomes a cage. Once the panic product started generating $150 million returns, the system locked the door. Hart started being a performer who was required to be loud. He fell into the exact same trap as Dwayne Johnson, just with a different color palette. While Johnson was busy negotiating his invincibility, Hart was busy negotiating his neurosis. The result is a performance style that feels increasingly synthetic. When you watch a modern Kevin Hart movie, you're watching a brand fulfilling a contractual obligation to be overwhelmed. The panic is an expected deliverable, like a CGI explosion or a product placement for a sports drink. Corporate approved chaos. This is the point where his personality officially became a product. Hart's noise became an obstacle to his acting. He became a reaction GIF in human form. Every facial expression is dramatically exaggerated. Every line is delivered at a frequency that can shatter bone. It's a performance that doesn't leave room for the audience to feel anything other than a slight headache. The difference between Johnson and Hart during this transition is simple but profound. The Rock sells control, Kevin Hart sells chaos. Johnson is the mahogany statue that represents stability, strength, and the absolute absence of doubt. Hart is the bird trapped in the house, flapping his wings against the windows, knocking over the vases, and screaming at the top of his lungs. They are the perfect symbiotic pair of the brands. You can't have the statue without the chaos, and you can't have the chaos without something solid to bounce off of. Hollywood's version of Kevin Hart is a sanitized, hyperactive caricature. He's the guy who gets hit by things, the guy who falls over, the guy who gets too old for this despite being in peak physical condition. He's been reduced to his most marketable components. The industry realized that a nuanced Kevin Hart might not play as well in international markets, where the nuance gets lost in translation. But a guy screaming and falling off a motorcycle, that's a universal language. You don't need subtitles if someone is just yelling and falling over. That's a global revenue stream. So Hart leaned in. He built a business empire around this persona. He became a mogul, a producer, and a man who owns the very noise that the industry loves. But in doing so, he cemented the bars of his own prison. He can't afford to be quiet anymore. He can't afford to be restrained. If he's not the loudest thing in the room,
Oh my god, I have a rolling pin of my grandma's that I never want to use for food again because I'm scared that it'll get ruined. Yay!
Finally,
I have something to use it for.
Grade assets. Johnson and Hart became a standardized blockbuster kit. You open the box, you drop in the control, you drop in the chaos, you shake it up with some over-budgeted visual effects, and you print $1 billion. It's a win for the box office, sure, but for anyone who saw the old soul in Dwayne or the honesty in Kevin, it's a tragedy. We're watching two actors who have been outsourced to their own brands, and as we look at their solo films, we start to see just how empty those brands can be when they don't have each other to lean on. Once Dwayne Johnson successfully uploaded his consciousness into the untouchable brand cloud, his solo career stopped being a series of movies and started being a series of corporate product launches. When you're going to see a Rock solo film, you're going to see a 120-minute demonstration of the brand's durability. It's like watching a high-budget stress test for a piece of industrial equipment. We know the machine won't break, we know it will complete its task, and we know exactly how much it costs. The tragedy of the Rock solo career is governed by a very simple simple, very depressing law of physics. The bigger the budget, the smaller the actor. Somewhere Christopher Nolan is nodding aggressively. Let's look at the evidence, starting with Hercules in 2014. This one had potential. It was directed by Brett Ratner before he was exiled to the Shadow Realm, and it was originally marketed as a deconstruction of the myth. The idea was that Hercules was just a very strong man with a clever marketing team. There was a brain in this script. It wanted to explore the difference between the legend and the reality. But then the brand intervention happened. The studio and likely Johnson's own Perception Council realized that the world doesn't want to see a Rock who is a fraud. They don't want a mortal Hercules. So they pivoted. They turned it into a generic, steroid-infused actioneer where the Rock does exactly what the brand promises. He hits things, he yells at the sky, and he remains fundamentally indestructible. The interesting human element was buried under a landslide of digital noise and golden-filtered spectacle. It started as, what if Hercules was human, and ended as, what if Hercules was the Rock? This is the reoccurring pattern. When a script offers Johnson a chance to be a person, the brand pulls him back into the safety of being a myth. In 2018, we got Skyscraper. If you want to see the Rock formula in its pure...
We're investigating Charlie's assassination fully and completely and running out every lead related to any allegation of broader violence.
There was a gunshot.
Where's the speaker? I don't know. It's in the middle. There's people around him. He's a speaker. He's a debater. Famous debater.
Okay.
Political debater.
Let's be advised, UVU in Orem has had an active shooter at Charlie Kirk, and we're getting several calls. We do have officers following the victim to consider the hospital.
On the day of the horrific shooting of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University, Director Patel again sparked mass confusion by incorrectly claiming on social media that the shooter was in custody, which he then had to walk back with another social media post.
That is the FBI working with the public as they promised, being transparent.
Tonight, the FBI released new video of the gunman after the shooting, as he runs across a roof from which he took that shot, climbs down to the ground, and runs away. A seemingly experienced sniper. It was one shot from an elevated position more than a football field away.
And this initiates a text message conversation back and forth between the lover and the defendant. The defendant cannot show that the material he wants to present at the preliminary hearing would defeat probable cause.
We still have never seen the gun. The gun is at Quantico. I have not looked at my client's phone, and that concerns me.
We cannot do our job without the public's help right now. As you're aware, as has already been reported, the FBI is offering a $100,000 reward. There is a tremendous amount of disinformation. Last thing I will just say is we've been working with our attorneys, getting everything that we need, affidavits ready, so that we can pursue the death penalty in this case.
As you know, the depraved assassin who planned and executed Charlie's killing has been arrested and charged with capital murder. God willing, he will receive the full and ultimate punishment for his horrific crime.
Meanwhile, tonight, Vice President
the guy hasn't
J.D.
even been
Vance
convicted
accompanied
yet, and
Kirk's
the president
body in Air
is
Force Two.
The FBI says the
this
22-year-old
guy, like, what does he do if
laid out his attack,
he's found
tracking
innocent?
Charlie Kirk's schedule and studying maps of the campus.
That's the thing, they're not going to find him innocent. They're going to put him on death row.
Message to a friend saying, quote,
or he'll
I
be
have an
murdered before
opportunity
trial.
to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it.
Why does the world keep questioning the official
So,
narrative?
you see how now
even
it's
if it
kind
turns
of
out to be
like
completely true. To understand that,
popping
we have
out
to go back to that day. September 10th, 2025,
like a dome.
Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. Nearly 3,000 people are packed into the courtyard for Turning Point USA's American Comeback Tour. The energy is absolutely electric. On stage sits Charlie Kirk, just 31 years old, co-founder of Turning Point USA, a husband, a father of two, one of the most effective young conservative voices in America. He's right in the middle of answering Hunter Kozak's question about gun violence and culture.
Hunter Kozak, the last person to speak to Charlie, to ask him a question before he was taken out. Let me summarize and connect the dots here for you. Hunter, known online for being a member of ANF America, was selected by a TPUSA staff member to be second in line. A very specific question which many found too coincidental to be ignored.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last
last 10 years, counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
A single sharp impact hits him. You can hear it clearly on footage. Some people thought it was a gunshot. Others swore it sounded like a firework. His security guy, Dan Flood, pulls him to the ground as the team swarms in. Screams explode everywhere. Thousands of people scatter in total panic. But here's the strange part. Some folks start claiming responsibility as a distraction. Others stand up and cheer, and a few just walk away calmly on their phones like nothing happened. The official story from authorities and prosecutors is straightforward. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson fired one precise sniper shot from a rooftop more than 140 yards away on the Losi Center. They say he acted completely alone, driven by political hatred of Kirk's views. They pointed to DNA, fingerprints, cell phone data, shoe prints, and even writings on the rifle as slam dunk proof. But here's why. More than 7 months later,
These little
millions of
black
people
fibers
around
are
the
gonna
world
try
are
to
still
stain
questioning that very narrative,
my rug.
even if they eventually accept it as true. Just 48 hours before the shooting, Charlie Kirk sent private texts complaining about losing millions from Jewish donors.
Charlie is on issue of being him and I are going to present the proof of what I'm saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we canceled Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Charlie writes,
Isn't that
Jewish
crazy
donors play
how
into
like
all
it
the
just
stereotypes
immediately
I
like
cannot
makes it look
and
like obviously it's
will
not
not
finished,
be
so
bullied like
but
this,
isn't that
leaving
cool
me no
how it
choice but to
immediately makes
leave
it like
the
3D?
pro-Israel cause.
The more you try to tell me I can't criticize Israel, the more likely I am to do it, to focus on exactly what you're doing.
Suddenly, the mic theories, the donor angles, and all kinds of speculation exploded across social media, podcasts, and independent video breakdowns. It created an absolute firestorm. Today, we're walking through the entire story from start to finish. We'll look at who Charlie Kirk really was, the explosive donor rift that blew up after his death, the raw chaos caught on police dispatch and 911 calls, the weird early detentions that confused everyone, the suspect, and all the lingering forensic questions, including that recently unsealed ATF ballistics report, the viral alternative theories that just won't die, the
What
parallels
about
to the JF Nation and exactly why reasonable skepticism is still hanging around.
what about the
even
fucking
when
fact
authorities
that
say there's
the
nothing
police
more to see.
radio was like
This isn't some long
saying
conspiracy video trying to prove a grand plot.
that there
It's
was
an
a
honest,
black
honest dive
SUV
into
with
why
someone
the
hanging
doubt
out the car,
refuses to go away.
trying to like
By the time
seeming,
you feel
they
so
thought it was
off
like
to many.
kidnapping or something.
Why certain forensic gray areas and that fresh slab of concrete raise eyebrows, and why in this low trust era, powerful interests, private messages, and sharp online analysis keep colliding. Stick with me through this. As we go, drop in the comments which specific detail or anomaly makes you pause the most. Which part feels hardest to square with the official story? Be respectful. I want to hear your real thoughts. And if you like deep, fair-minded looks at stories that actually matter, smash that like button right now. Let's dive in and figure out exactly.
So fucking conscientious about my fucking feet because of the weirdos on the internet. I hate that. I like being barefoot. I don't like having to hide my feet. I don't like having to think about stuff like that. It's stupid. Dude, my best friend since I was like 18, we haven't seen each other in person since 2011. But she's still my best friend. I'm still her best friend. Like there's nothing that will ever come between us. We have been through so fucking much together. I've saved her life, she's saved my life. It's crazy the shit we've been together. We've had so many of our friends die. So we just really truly like we love each other very much. But anyway, so she messaged me yesterday or the day before, and she was like, yo, I saw your video, the video of you cutting and trimming that rug, she's like, what if I bought you these clippers and sent them to you so that I could like help you? And I was like, girl, holy shit, I cannot believe that you are even in the background thinking about stuff like that. Like, you're so fucking kind. But also, I actually literally bought those exact ones. I have them right here. I just don't use them because they work. It's a machine. I like doing things by hand. I've really got an issue with machinery. I'm trying to decide whether, well, I know I'm going to for sure, but I'm gonna buy one of those hand rug tufters that you crank with your hand, and I'm gonna see if I like that better. And if I do, then I'll just do it that way, because I really am intimidated by machinery. Like, I don't like it. Machines are literally spinning faster than things are meant to spin. The only thing meant to spin that fast is fucking water. And so I'm not water. All machines are dangerous. I don't even like cars. I wish that we could all ride horses. Alright, I don't want to watch nothing about Derlinger. I kind of just want to like listen to music, but I can't do that here. What time is it? 11:30. Let me check my text message. Okay, lesson learned. I'm gonna have to tell her about that. I might be able to buff it out. Yeah, I'm gonna be able to buff it out. Thank God. I wish I was more of a person who talked their thoughts. I feel like a lot of people that do YouTube, who film videos and stuff, are people who think out loud a lot and like verbalize everything they're doing. I tell Josh this all the time. I'm like, dude, you would be the perfect fucking YouTuber, dude. You like literally talk out loud everything you're doing. Like you're narrating your life already. You should totally be filming what you're doing, you know? And you'd be so good at it. That's what another one of the reasons why I don't I'm not drawn to create long form content that is filmed and edited and whatever. Like if I was really, like, it's been 5 years. If I was super interested, like, I would learn how to do it. But I'm just not, my brain just doesn't care about that kind of stuff. But I wish I did. I wish I narrated what I was doing more often. I'd love to explain to you guys the process of, you know, what I'm doing and why. But I just get in the zone. So I guess this is me practicing that right now. Come back, Julio, come back. Oh, it's gonna die. Oops. Thank God it's just yarn. I need the cord. Oh God! I told you to put Jesus. I thought I got stuck. do it. See, practicing, narrating my life. Because like later on when I go and take this video and I turn it into a TikTok or something, right? Like, it'd be nice if I had some description and then I don't have to worry about voiceovers. I don't know how those people, so many people just like seem to just know how to do voiceovers. They like they've never been taught, but they just like know how to imitate what they're hearing. Like these way people do voiceovers. I don't know how to do that shit. I don't know how to like record an interesting voiceover. That's why I do well with live streams, because I can just go about my life and you guys can just play fly on the wall. Thanks to Range Creations. Thank you, Reckless. So sweet. See, look at that. And then it like 3D pops out. Boop. Now we do the squiggle. every time the willow tree rubs against my window, it makes this like noise. Why are y'all so tangled up, bruh? I know I made a straight line down here. Why is this so fucking tangled? It's hard to get a grip. I desperately need a little hand vacuum that like has the wide fitting on it. If anybody wants to contribute to the business, I very much need one of those. hot. I'm covered right now. It is very anxiety-inducing. Oh, Heather, you ding dong. Julio, come back. You 10 specific robots are driving me absolutely bonkers today. Okay, maybe that was okay. Freak out. It's totally fine. Okay. Yay. Oh, Julio break. Guys, please, if you could, like the stream for me, like the actual thumbs up button, not just the heart. Apparently, it does things. So if you're watching this, please take a moment and like it for me. That'd be great. I have a word stuck in my head and my brain won't stop saying it over and over again. god, it looks so damn good. What in the hell is that fucking sound? starving. It's getting there. It's getting close. So there are helicopters flying over my neighborhood right now, I live in a national forest. There are helicopters flying over the national forest right now, like literally this second. I can hear them doing it. And the neighbors have all been bitching about it. They are spraying glyphosate all over the mountains so they can kill all the natural plants, because they're trying to turn our entire forest into timber farms, basically. So they're spraying glyphosate all over our land right now, which is draining into all of our water and getting into all of us are on well water. None of us out here have city water. We are in the fucking mountains. The water we use comes directly from the mountains. So they're spraying the mountains with fucking glyphosate to kill off all of the natural plants. And nobody cares. Like, I mean, the people in power give zero fucks. The people have said, we don't want this, absolutely not, we voted against it, but they did it anyway. Hold on, I gotta go back and read what Jamie wrote. I've missed that comment. Hey Heather, did people place orders for these? Yes, these are orders! Thank you, guys. Oh my god.
think this one's done.
Might ruin it, but I'm gonna try something. I don't think I feel comfortable enough for those just yet. I think I might need to even pack my yarn in tighter than what I'm doing somehow. I feel like I might be doing it too loose. I'm gonna ask Artsy Mad Woman what she's doing for spacing. That looks fine. Just fill them. Bro, that looks so good. Holy shit. I can't believe I made this. Oh, come on, Heather. Thank God they fell right here. Oh my God. I'm gonna put something back there. Oh, I forgot I didn't want to cut this because it'll be easier to glue it if I don't. I cannot believe how good this came out. I'm gonna have to get like little pamphlets printed out, like for rug care, so people will be able to take care of their rugs. Heather, even Da Vinci had to decide when it was time for the last stroke. Okay, let's not get yourself caught in the weeds. Ooh, I need to check my Instagram and see if that guy messaged me back about his Lightning McQueen rug that I'm making after I make this first Lightning McQueen rug. Heather, you remember that line about Picasso, right? Or Da Vinci, right? Done. Which way is it supposed to go? Like that? Or like that? I think it's supposed to go like that. Yeah, like that. Pretty good. Alright, moving on to the next one. Bitch, don't cut that fucking cord. I'm so notorious for doing shit like that. Cutting cords and shit on accident. I was using my hedge trimmers one time, and I ended up accidentally hedge trimming my fucking Starlink cord. That was fun.
The arsonist had oddly shaped feet.
Can't you just like wrinkle the right way instead of just like constantly trying to wrinkle the way I don't want you to? What do you think? I'm just literally asking you to fold yourself right in the middle. That's okay. How about this? I don't ask you to do it at all. How about that? No more arguing. Oh, this glue is fucking strong. Tape, whatever it's called. Fucking shit. My pointer finger like doesn't have enough muscle to pull away from it. I gotta figure out a better system. Fuck that. Glue's not 100% dry, so this is still a little tacky. If you guys could please like the stream, I would be so grateful. Apparently it like does something, it like helps, or I don't know what. No sé qué pinga. What kind of rugs would you guys want? If I was to make a rug for you, like what would you ask, like what would you want? What kind of rug would you want in your house? I'm not asking you to buy one from me. I'm just asking for, like, what would you want in your house? What kind of ideas? Ruh-roh. And then you just cut these little tabs off after you go through all that wrinkling process, and it's perfectly straight. My dad taught me this. It's one of the only things that, like, I can remember, like, that my dad directly taught me. I don't remember very much from my dad. I didn't really know him very well. I knew him, but I didn't, like, have I never had the opportunity to get to know him as an adult. He died when I was 13 or 14. I was living with my 22-year-old boyfriend. I didn't even meet Josh until after I moved back home. I had already lived with my boyfriend for a year. That time we broke up and I went back to my mom's house for a minute. Ooh, a Persian rug. Flowers for sure. Yeah, actually, a Persian rug would be so cool too. It's made differently. A Persian rug is more of a woven. So you take string like this, and then you literally take like pieces of fabric and you just tuck it behind the string, and then after every row, you pack it down with this tool. Like you just grab the yarn that's starting to build up the thing as you go, you push it down, and then you weave another piece of string in there as your weft. So you're literally, a Persian rug is put together, or I'm sorry, end result is identical to a tufting machine. However, the way that they go about getting the yarn in between the weft and the whatever it's called, the threads that hold it all together. So they build this as they go. So like there'll be the strings going this way, and as they go, they add each row they finish, they add a string going this way, so it holds it down in there. But this, I'm taking a pre-made cloth and putting the fibers in between each hole. But the Persian rugs they build the whole thing all at once. It's pretty cool. Ooh, a snowflake would be really cool. I like the idea of a snowflake rug. That is pretty cool. Stick to everything, so I'm just gonna do it as I go. Dude, do you want to go outside or something? I mean, all you have to do is say, hey, Mom. Which everybody in here knows you can do. What? You want to go outside? Okay. Yep, I've got 2 pieces of paper here. Hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, we're gonna go outside. Really wanna go outside? Hmm? He's like, yeah, bitch, I'm fucking whining. Can't you tell I gotta go? Come on, outside. Oh, no, your pillow fell down. Is this your food right here? Is that what you want? You wanna go outside? Come on, let's go. He's a good boy. He goes outside, go potty. Good girl. Go ahead. Oh, fuck. And I fell. Okay, thank God my cat didn't decide to walk this way. Oh, I was like, oh my God, she did. Yeah. What's up? What's up? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then what? Butthole, let's go. Let go. going great, Justin. Thanks, D-Range. I'm really grateful. Thank you. That being said, you guys would be surprised to find out just how doable this is for anybody. Like, not even joking. You could do this. You could do this. If I could do it, anybody could do it. I'm a ding-dong. So, if I could do this, you surely can. I need to check my text to see if my work replied. I'll see you guys. Bring you guys with me. I'll come back on when I go to work. When I get to work, I'll pop back on so that you can watch. I love you. See you later. Can't believe it's 2 o'clock already. Holy shit. Love you. Bye.